Hello, I'm Guido and I want to show you guys today 5 ways to make money on Binance. As you may know, Binance is currently the biggest crypto exchange in the world, and you can trade all kinds of cryptocurrencies on that platform. And Binance is actually around since 2017, but since then it evolved into something more than just a regular exchange. And I want to show you today the best ways to make money out of it. And first of all, the most obvious way to make money is actually to trade altcoins. So you have more than 100 different coins on Binance that you can actually trade. And we have seen in the past that the value of altcoins went down pretty heavily actually compared to Bitcoin. But if you do some active trading, there are still good opportunities out there to make money. For example, when it comes to me right now, I'm currently trading basic attention token, for example, and try to make like 100% on that one, and NEO as well. I usually trade against Bitcoin in order to increase my Bitcoin portfolio. So that's basically the main goal I have, to get as much Bitcoin as I can. So if I trade an altcoin, I do it against Bitcoin in order to improve my Bitcoin stack. So for me, it wouldn't make sense to trade against US dollar, and if a coin would go up 5%, but the Bitcoin value would go up 10%, it's not that profitable for me. That's why I decided to trade against Bitcoin and just very rarely against something else. So that's of course the most obvious thing you can do on Binance, to actively trade. And for me, the best way to trade was actually to learn about support and resistance zones. So that's actually what works best for me, to buy in a support zone and to sell at resistance. So that's basically, that's how I do it. And if you want to become familiar, you can just trade with a few dollars on Binance and learn how it works and get better and then improve. So the second way we want to talk about is the affiliate program that Binance has. So you can actually refer people to Binance and you earn a commission for that. So in order to do that, you can just click here. As you can see, you can earn up to 40% commission on the people you refer. So if you refer someone, you get a commission rate of 20%. But if you have more than 40%, 500 BNB in your account, then you can actually increase your commission rate by 40%. And for example, I have a link down below. If you use that link, you can save 10% of the trading fees. So I give some of my commission away for you guys in order to save money when you actually trade. But to be honest, referring people is not that profitable at all. I have more than 2,700 people referred, and I usually make around 10 to 100 US dollar per day. I mean, it's a nice to have amount of money, but it's not enough to live off of it. So that's the second thing you can do. And to give you some incentive, the top referrer on Binance actually makes around 100K a week. So last week the top referrer made 100K. Probably will go up if the interests on cryptocurrencies grow stronger in the future, but right now he makes around 100K. The third thing I want to show you guys to make money is staking. So some cryptocurrencies don't use mining, they use something that they call proof of stake. And an example would be Tron, for example. So you can actually stake your cryptocurrencies and vote for a block producer or super representatives. And the super representatives or block producers are the one who generates the new blocks. And with the new blocks, all the transactions that have taken place will be written in the block, and with that they get approved. And with that you get a fee, or you have to pay a fee for the transaction, and the fee is divided to the block producer, and some of that fee goes to you if you are staking and voting for the block producer. So for example, if it comes to Tron, you can actually stake your Tron, and Binance is automatically voting for super representatives in the background, so you don't see that, but your cryptocurrency is staked. And with that, as long as it's staked, you can make 1 to 3% per year. And for some other cryptocurrencies like Algorand, it's actually more. It's between 12 to 14%, currently actually close to 16%. So all you have to do is just have that current cryptocurrency on the platform. So if you want to stake Tron or Algorand, you just need to deposit it on Binance, and then you can click deposit now, and then you can just stake it here. And you can withdraw it every time. So it's not for a fixed amount of time, but you can actually get it back every time you want. Of course, then you would just get not the whole percentage per year, but if you have it staked for like half a year, you would get half of it, for example. So staking is another way of making money. And the disadvantage is, of course, you have to hold that cryptocurrency for the time. So if you stake Algorand, for example, for a year and you make 15%, but the value of Algorand goes down by 50%, you actually make a loss even with that 15 or 16% you are getting. And you have to trust Binance with your cryptocurrencies. So of course your cryptocurrencies are on Binance, and Binance is like a possible target for hackers to steal your cryptocurrencies. However, Binance has an insurance fund, and most of the cryptocurrencies they are holding are cold wallets, so they are not connected to the actual platform. So it's almost impossible to hack it and get more than 1 or 2% of the total amount of cryptocurrencies that Binance has. So that's it when it comes to staking. And the fourth option we want to talk about is lending. And there you can do flexible deposits or fixed deposits. So the difference is basically, as the name says, you can, for example, lend BNB or Tether for a flexible amount of time. So when it comes to me, for example, I have 500 BNB that I lend to Binance. And for that, I get an average annual return of 0.62%. And it's called flexible because I can redeem it every time. So if I deposit it as a flexible deposit, I have to wait 1 day, but then I can redeem it every time I want to. It's different with fixed deposits. These you have to deposit for a fixed amount of time. Currently it's usually around 14 days or 30 days. And Binance will increase that in the future to a couple of months. So in the future, you can also have like fixed deposits of like 3 months or 6 months and so on. And the disadvantage is also that you have to renew it manually every 14 days currently. So it's like a lot of work, but you get a higher interest rate. And if you actually have 500 BNB and you deposit it in the lending account, it still counts for your referrals. So most of my BNB is currently in the flexible deposit account, and it still counts for my referrals. So that's why I get still 40% commission. It's also important to know. The fifth thing we want to talk about is Binance Launchpad. Binance Launchpad is basically an ICO platform, or now it's called IEO platform, so initial exchange offerings. platform, and that's basically IEOs that happen on Binance. And we have seen in the past Kava, for example, we have seen BitTorrent and Matic and quite some other IEOs that went live on Binance, and people actually made here in the past easily 400 to 500%. And the last few IEOs we have seen people actually made about 50% on it. So if you invested like $100, you actually made $150 in total, or you got out $150. So it's still very profitable. The disadvantage is that you need to have BNB in your account. So usually you need to have at least 50 BNB in your account in order to get a lottery ticket, because all these IEOs are oversubscribed. So they do a lottery, and in order to participate in the lottery, you need to have BNB, and usually it's around 50 BNB per ticket, and the maximum amount you can have is 500 BNB, and with that you usually get around 10 lottery tickets. And yeah, here it's also important to know, if you, like me, landed out your 500 BNB, it still counts towards the lottery. So I'm still getting usually around 10 lottery tickets for my 500 BNB. So that are actually the 5 most important ways you can make money on Binance. If you have any questions about it, feel free to use the comments down below. And if you want to save some trading fees, you can use my Binance link. And there's another way to save some trading fees. That's when you go here and you can actually pay your fees with BNB. So if you have some BNB in your account, you can pay the trading fees with BNB, then you save another 25%. So you can save 35% in total just with the link, and here with using BNB for paying for the trading fees. So that's it. As I said, if you have questions, use the comments. I would also like if you would like the video, and thanks for watching, and bye.